Blue and red lights washed over the pine trees as the sheriff's SUV rolled to a stop in front of my lake cabin. The air smelled like wet wood and summer rain. Funny how you never forget those little things when everything's about to go sideways. Karen from the HOA was already parked in my driveway, arms crossed, phone clutched like a trophy, her smile so smug I half expected her to break out in applause. You know the look, right? The one that says, "I've won, and you're about to lose, big time." Two deputies got out first, sizing up the scene, hands on their belts. Then the sheriff himself stepped out, looking calm, deliberate, like a man who'd rather be anywhere else. Karen jabbed a finger in my direction and, with a voice sharp enough to cut glass, yelled, "That man broke into this cabin. He doesn't live here. Arrest him." The sheriff didn't even blink. He walked past her, asked for my name, checked my license against the county records on his tablet, and let a quick half-smile curl on his face. "Welcome back, Mr. Miller," he said, and he said it just loud enough for every nosy neighbor within earshot. Karen's face fell off a cliff, 1 second smug, the next, white as a sheet. The sheriff turned to her and said, "Ma'am, we need to talk about your calls." But before she could even spin a new excuse, the low rumble of a tow truck's engine echoed down the lane, a tow cable clanking against the pavement like the opening bell of a heavyweight fight. Earlier that week, I'd left the lake early on purpose. Folks around here, they notice everything. Who comes, who goes, who doesn't play by the unspoken rules. My strategy was simple. Keep quiet. Be useful. Don't ruffle feathers. I stacked firewood for the elderly. Fixed Mr. Jenkins's porch step. Returned lost dogs with a smile and a scratch behind the ear. I wanted peace. My cabin sat under 3 pines that whistled in the wind, porch board smooth because I'd sanded them myself, a tin duck my mom gave me nailed to the front post, and a wildflower path down to the lake. I'd worked my tail off to buy this place. Overtime at the firehouse, side gigs, selling my old truck. Not fancy, but home. We had an HOA, mostly to patch up the roads and manage the boat ramp. But Karen Whitfield, she turned HOA into her own private kingdom. Clipboard, tape measure, whistle. You'd think she was the head of a tiny police state. Parking, mowing, even laughing too loud across the water. She had a rule for all of it. I tried kindness, gave her gloves at the spring cleanup, smiled, kept my head down. Didn't need her approval, just wanted quiet. Planned to spend a week at the cabin, fix the dock, fish, read. Storm hit on day 2. Lake turned iron gray, wind howling, rain slapping windows. Got a message from Mr. Jenkins. Sprinkler flood on Elm. HOA says it's your line. Only, my cabin's on Pine Lane. Whatever, figured I'd check it out. Hate to see water go to waste. My mom texted too, something about the doctor wanting more tests. She always says not to worry. I always do. I cut my trip short, battened everything down, and headed home. Rolled into the neighborhood at sunset, road still steaming. The gate stood open, new sign flapping. Temporary HOA work zone. Looked like a homemade job. Turned onto Pine Lane, and bam, Karen steps out of the bushes with her clipboard like she's starring in a low-budget detective show. "You can't be here yet," she snapped. "Your vacation isn't over." I kept it light. "Evening, Karen." Came back early. She bristled. "That's not how it works." I just smiled. "Property's not a library book. It's my place." She scribbled furiously, walked off calling someone on her phone. I parked in my own driveway, the gravel popping under my tires, took a deep breath of pine, and tried to let it go. But then, Karen's voice again, sharper now. "Stop. Do not enter that property." She was dialing 911 right in front of me. "This is Karen Whitfield with the Lakeside HOA. There's a break-in at 27 Pine Lane." I mean, seriously? I could have gotten mad, but what's the point? I unlocked my door, stepped into my own cabin, let the cedar and lake air ground me, picked up an old photo of my mom and me at the lake, whispered I'd drive her to her appointment, and then sirens. The deputies were professional, no nonsense. I kept my hands where they could see, explained everything. Karen barged in, yelling about trespassing, waving her schedule like it was the U.S. Constitution. Then the sheriff, Daniels, arrived. Good man. Remembers faces. Remembers who helped at the food drive last Thanksgiving. He checked the county records, turned to Karen, and said, "Ma'am, this is Mr. Miller. He's the owner." Karen stammered. But the schedule. Daniels cut her off. Schedules don't trump deeds. He laid it out for everyone. No crime here. Karen's face did that thing. Like a puppet's strings just snapped. She tried to pivot, barking about my truck being parked too close to the mailbox, using the boat ramp after hours. Daniels didn't budge. If you have a civil complaint, take it to the board. But stop calling 911 for neighbor disputes. I almost felt bad for her, honestly. People who live for control are usually terrified of something they can't name. I even offered to help with the sprinkler problem on Elm. She rejected it on reflex. Sometimes kindness is the only weapon left. Then, tow truck. Driver leans out, says he's here for a removal order, HOA letterhead and all. Karen perks up, chin high, tells him to proceed. Daniels holds up a hand. No one's towing anything tonight. The driver hesitates, eyes flicking between Sheriff and Karen, knowing his paycheck hangs in the balance. More neighbors gather, drawn by the lights. The drama. People love a story, right? Natalie the nurse, her little boy clinging to her leg, gives me a worried smile. Community, even when it's messy, is still community. The tow driver, nervous, starts to hook up my boat anyway. Voice crackling from his radio, someone urging him to finish the job. Karen orders the cones out, tries to blockade the lane. Even the HOA volunteers look uneasy. Daniels returns with paperwork, tells everyone to stand down. Then it happens. Steel cable snaps. Boat lurches. Cable whips the air. Karen's clipboard explodes. Neighbors scream. For a second, it's chaos. Adrenaline, shouting, metal scraping asphalt. Nobody got hurt, but it was close. Daniels lays into the tow driver. Tells him he's done for the night, maybe forever. Turns to Karen. One more unlawful order, and she's facing charges. For once, she's speechless. The crowd's murmuring, and then a deep voice from the back. Howard Blake, the real HOA president, emerges. This has gone far enough. He tries to reassert control, warns me about facing the board, acts like order is everything. Daniels fires back. This is about safety and the law, not your rules. Tension simmers. Blake, Karen, the whole crowd caught between sides. And then, the twist. Black SUV, tinted windows, rolls up like a villain in a movie. Deputies tense. Neighbors whisper. The window slides down, and a man's voice, cold and commanding, fills the night. Looks like this neighborhood needs a reminder of who really makes the rules. It's Crane, the developer, HOA's biggest ally, the guy who's been quietly buying up land. He offers to buy my cabin. Right there, says, sell me the cabin, Miller, tonight, before more trouble finds you. Chills run down my spine. Daniels stands his ground, tells Crane to leave. Natalie shouts that money doesn't buy the right to bully people. The crowd splits, some scared, some defiant. Then the fire alarm screams from the lake. Boathouse is on fire. The heart of our community, where kids fish, where we hold barbecues every summer, up in flames. Neighbors scramble with hoses, buckets. Old firefighter instincts kick in. I'm right there on the line. Through the smoke, I spot movement near the trees, a shadow slipping away. Arson. This wasn't random. We fight the fire. Mr. Jenkins, old but stubborn, tosses water with the rest of us. We find a gas can, proof this was no accident. Then, from up at the cabin, a scream, someone's inside. Heart in my throat, I sprint up the path. Daniels and deputies close behind. We burst in. Karen, held hostage by a man with a crowbar, my paperwork scattered, my grandfather's photo trampled. The guy's desperate, says someone told him to get my documents tonight. Who told you? I demand. He spits. You already know, Crane. He throws Karen at us, dives out the window, vanishes into the woods. Deputies chase. I'm left staring at the wreckage of my life. Outside, my truck's window is smashed. Get out now is spray painted across the hood. Daniels sees it for what it is. This isn't vandalism, it's a threat. Blake tries to spin it, argues more rules, and Crane's money will fix everything. But Natalie and the neighbors, some of them, anyway, aren't buying it. Daniels swears if anyone in the HOA is involved, they'll answer to him. Suddenly, a deputy returns from the woods with a scrap of gasoline-soaked cloth, same as the boathouse fire. Daniels connects the dots for everyone. This is one campaign, not random. The crowd erupts, blaming Crane, blaming Karen, some insisting it must be outsiders. Daniels orders everyone home, tells us to lock our doors. Karen, shaken for once, mutters, "I didn't want this. I just wanted order." For the first time, I believe her. She's about control, not violence. Crane is the real threat. Daniels warns me. They're escalating. If they can't scare you, they'll try to break you. And if that fails, he lets it hang. Before I can process, Danielle's radio crackles. Another fire, this time at my mom's house. The bottom drops out of my world. I tear off from my truck. Daniels grabs me, says don't charge in alone, but all I can think is, my mom's in danger. He throws me in his cruiser. We race through the night, red and blue lights bouncing off the pines. We reach her house, garage engulfed, but my mom, thank God, stumbles out, coughing alive. I wrap her up, fight the fire side by side with Daniels and the neighbors until it's out. Another gas can at the scene. Same pattern. And then, Crane returns. Calm, collected, ice cold. Tragic accident, he drawls. Daniels isn't having it. Slaps a gasoline-soaked cloth on the hood. Arrests Crane for arson, criminal mischief, conspiracy. Deputies cuff Blake too, and suddenly, the power shifts. Neighbors cheer, some cry. Karen staggers, lost. Daniels tells me, "You fought with kindness, Miller. Don't lose it." I promise I won't. That night, standing in front of my scarred cabin, my mom's battered house behind me, I realize kindness is the only thing they can't steal. Crane and his money, Karen and her clipboards. They tried to burn me out, scare me off, divide us. But as Daniels leads them away and the community comes together, I know this fight wasn't just about a cabin or a deed. It was about standing up when everything's on the line, about neighbors choosing each other over fear. Where are you watching from? Would you have stood your ground or taken the deal? Let me know below, because honestly, I think this story's just getting started.